All right, what's up, fight fans? Weigh-ins are over and done with. I'm not going to really do the undercard. I'm not going to talk about those. Let's just talk about the main event, right? Joshua versus Parker. Everyone, including myself, was waiting to see what Joshua would weigh. He has come in light. He has come in light. He has come in, 12 pounds, nearly a stone lighter than he was against Takam. So that's it. Foregone conclusion. Put all your money on AJ. He wins this fight by knockout. If boxing was that simple, I'd be a very, very, very rich man. Unfortunately, I go into my bank account every day and I clearly see that I'm not a rich man because boxing is not that simple. Every boxer, and I've said this time and time again on my channel, every time a boxer has a bad performance or loses, there has to be a reason that's happened. There has to be an excuse. There just has to be, right? Of course there is. Why would there not be an excuse? Because all boxers are in some way delusional. I mean, why would you want to have a job that means you get punched in the face? And for 99% of the boxers, don't get paid very well for doing so. So Joshua and his team and us as his fans have made the excuse that that performance against Takam was because Joshua was too heavy, too big, and gassed. It's strange though because he weighed something quite similar against Klitschko, but because he won, obviously we didn't hear anything about the weight. I think that's fair to say. I think there was about 3 or 4 pounds different. But again, because he won, because he got up off the canvas, because it was a fantastic fight, because it was Klitschko, we don't hear anything about the weight. What if I was to tell you that maybe the Takam performance and the bad performance wasn't necessarily about the weight? Maybe it's just because Takam was an awkward opponent. I mean, is that too far? Is that too far left? Am I just talking out of my arse? Because one thing I did watch when I saw that Takam performance is Takam got underneath the jab. Takam was right on Joshua's chest. Takam was hitting Joshua with body punches. And sometimes, this is just my novice boxing experience, sometimes that takes it out on you. Not necessarily the fact that you're weighing your heaviest. Sometimes someone just hitting you to the body and making you work a bit is the reason. Maybe Takam's not getting enough credit for that fight. No one's actually said Takam looked alright. Everyone was like, well, Joshua looked shit because Joshua weighed too much. Well, maybe Takam looked good as well. So, okay, look, we know that Joshua is now lighter, so all of a sudden it's a foregone conclusion, right? Joshua will beat Parker because Joshua is now going to be super fast, super strong, and that's it. No one's going to be able to get inside Joshua. He's going to be too quick, too nimble. This is kind of the weight he weighed against Dillian Whyte. And yes, Dillian Whyte only landed 1. Everyone keeps talking about that. But watch the fight back a few times, people. Dillian Whyte was getting under that jab as well. Dillian Whyte was right on the chest of AJ in some times during that fight. Granted, AJ got the job done in the end. What I'm trying to say is this. The weight is all well and good. And I think it will make an improvement, don't get me wrong. But let's not base this fight just on weight. Heavyweights are heavyweights, right? You can be, 15 stone, you can be 20 stone. Heavyweights are heavyweights. Joseph Parker is a very, very good competitor for Anthony Joshua. Joseph Parker comes forward. Joseph Parker's got a decent jab, not a great jab, but then again, nor is AJ. AJ has the bigger reach here, and AJ's jab is still not where I want it to be. I mean, it's nowhere near Klitschko, nowhere near Lennox Lewis, nowhere near Holmes. And yeah, those are 3 big names I mentioned, but I don't mention them because of their names. I mention them because their reach is pretty much similar to AJ's. AJ needs to use the natural benefits he's got. And those natural benefits are his height and length. He needs to keep Joseph Parker away from him. If he lets Joseph Parker on the inside, which we've seen AJ do, especially when he's fighting smaller guys, then it could be an interesting fight. I'm happy he's lighter, don't get me wrong. I don't want to just kind of contradict what I've said. I'm happy he's lighter, but I don't want to kind of think it's a foregone conclusion now because he's lighter that this is going to be easy work. I don't think so. Joseph Parker's a bit lighter as well. And everyone judging Joseph Parker just on that Hugh Fury performance, or maybe even the performance before that. I mean, he has come out and said, look, he had elbow surgery. That might be an excuse. But if you speak to boxers, elbow surgery is kind of common. And I don't know, I kind of feel like maybe he was a bit tentative. Maybe he couldn't pull the trigger as much as he wanted to against Hughie Fury. Who knows? I think Hughie Fury is a fantastic back foot fighter, and I've said that I don't want Joseph Parker to be judged on that U3 performance. Joseph Parker looks extremely confident. Extremely confident. So does AJ. AJ always does. But I expect this to be an interesting fight. I've said that an unbeaten fighter never, ever thinks they can lose. That's just how it is, right? You look at someone like David Price who's been knocked out, and you kind of feel like David Price is the kind of person, as soon as he gets tagged, he'll start having bad memories of what it's like to be tagged, and he'll probably fold. Someone like Joseph Parker won't fold. He won't fold because he's never lost. So it's going to be a tough night. Do I expect AJ to win? Yeah, I do, because I think AJ is maybe a couple levels above Parker. But I don't expect it to be easy. I don't expect him to knock him out in the first half of the fight. I expect it to go 7, 8, 9. And then we'll see. We'll see what that gas tank is like. He's lost muscle mass. I think he's lost a bit of fat. He looks a lot trimmer, I think, does AJ. Don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to say, this guy walks around with a beer belly, but I think he looks a lot trimmer. So I don't think he's just lost muscle mass, as some people are saying. I think he's lost muscle mass and he's lost a bit of fat. Joseph Parker looks pretty good as well. Joseph Parker's never going to look like AJ. AJ looks like a bloody Greek god. But Joseph Parker, for a heavyweight, looks good as well. I done a recent... I was commentating in Austria with Don McGuinness. A lot of you guys might know Don McGuinness. He works for TalkSport. Does a lot of commentating in the Northwest. And me and him were talking about AJ, and he kind of pointed out that all those muscles are all great, but, I mean, you need to feed those muscles. You need to feed those muscles, trust me. For all the guys that drive, if you're driving a V8 petrol guzzler, yeah, it looks fantastic on the outside, but my God, does that thing require petrol to keep going, right? So trust me, all those muscles that AJ has, and Dom spoke about this, lactic acid builds up in those muscles very, very quickly. And yes, he looks fantastic at 17, what was he, 17.4, 17.2. But believe me, that's still super heavy. He's still a big guy. And it'll be interesting to see how he gets on. It'll be very interesting to see how he gets on at the lighter weight, how he gets on against someone like Joseph Parker that will push and push and push and keep coming, rather like Takam did. But I think have a bit more threat than Takam because he's faster, he's unbeaten, and I dare say he could be a bit stronger. What do you guys think? Let me know, leave your comments below. Are you happy with the weight? What impact will that weight have on the fight? Are we maybe playing into this weight thing and weight talk too much? Or is it a crucial element of the fight? I think a bit of both, if I'm honest with you. I think a bit of both. I think we're talking about it way too much, and I think we're just forgetting sometimes that skills pay the bills, as they say. And I think both of these guys have decent skills, and I think it's going to be a case of whose skills dictate the fight rather than whose weight dictates the fight.